Shoot and bounce, or not to shoot at all? Pretty hard one, isn't it? I'm Neil, and this is my review of KV-13. Starting, as usual, with history. Its development started in 1941 in Chelyabinsk Kirov plant, the same plant which fully developed IS-4 in secrecy. They didn't tell even the army about it before they finished. To know more, check out my IS-4 review. KV-13 was intended to replace KV-1 and T-34 at the same time. It was meant to be so-called universal tank, so it should have tons of armor and still be mobile. During testing, it turned out it was a rather unreliable tank and needed more armor and bigger turret. Such tank actually appeared in late 1942, but as the World War II took quite time, the resources were already at low. The decision was made and KV-13 project as a medium tank was discontinued. It was in favor of production already existing and fully working T-34. Bit of further development in a heavy type of KV-13 project, and thanks to the knowledge of it and experience, this led to creation of IS-1. KV-13 never saw a combat. So, such promising project had to appear in World of Tanks Blitz, and it appeared logically as a cross tank. But what actually cross tank is? This tank allows you to traverse the track tree, like M4A3E2, aka Shaman Jumbo, allows you to traverse from medium lane to a heavy, like Churchill gun carrier or Ferdinand do the same from heavies to tank destroyers. Or like KV-13 does this both ways. KV-13 allowed you to traverse the tree from a medium to heavy and the other way around. The main problem with such tank is that they are very niche. You are very unlikely to do such traverse without experiencing predecessors and getting to know the line first. They were obsolete in the game basically from the day one, apart Ferdinand, because Ferdi was originally standard TD and the only way you were able to get a Jagdpanzer E100. With update 5.5 we are saying bye-bye to many Tech 3 tanks, including already mentioned cross tanks, except the Ferdi. But they are not leaving us for good. They will stay as collector's one, and new players will not have an opportunity to experience them like we did. When KV-13 came in, there was no Dracula, no Helsing, no light tanks, and the fastest medium in tier 7s was probably Comet. It was totally different beast to what it is now. It is not that outstanding as it used to be, but it's still something people are not used to face. Let's move on to discuss what this tank does and what it actually is and what it isn't. Starting with the gun, we are looking into the worst aspect of the tank, rather mediocre DPM followed by average penetration, aim time and pretty bad gun dispersion. And what is the worst about this gun? The gun depression. 5 degrees? Only 5 degrees. As most of the places medium tanks fights are bumpy, hilly and curvy, this thing suffers quite a lot. While any other medium tank can peek over the bump, shoot you and hide, you actually can't. You have to go around, expose yourself, hit enemy and get hit as well. Not really good tactic for a medium. But wait, there might be a remedy. Remedy which have its own trade-offs. Trade-offs which I'm willing to pay, but you might not. It's the tier 5 gun. 76mm by 3% worse DPM, worse aim time and gun dispersion. But you know what this thing have? 7 degrees of gun depression. This gives us a more overall fighting capabilities. You can do the ridges now, not like a hero, but you can. You can fight mediums over the bumps and curvy roads. But the major trade-off I haven't mentioned yet, it's a penetration. 125mm is by far the worst you can equip on any tier 7 medium. So if you go this route, take a lot of APCRs. Not really for all the shots, but you will need it more often than other mediums. And you will struggle with penetrating not only tier 8s, but also some tier 7s like Tiger P. There is basically no way you can penetrate 200mm armor plate with 125mm shot. APCRs penetrate 156mm, that's no go either. You will have to use its other capabilities to overcome heavy enemies, for example by flanking. And that's how mediums were used to be played, not really going face to face and just out DPM heavy by penetrating every single shot. That's how I think many mediums should work. Mediums should not have all the features: great DPM, great penetration, great armor and great mobility. They have to give up on something. Oh, I get carried away. So, the gun. Thumbs down for me, and if I would choose the one, I would pick 76mm. I find it's easier to find weak spots than finding positions to shoot from. Moving to mobility. Back in the days when KV-13 appeared in the game, it felt quite mobile. 50 km forward doesn't sound bad and should kind of keep up with other mediums. But to be honest with you, I've never seen this tank going 50 on flat surface. 45 maybe, 50 no way. It takes quite time to get up to the speed, with rather average power to weight ratio, but it's not the worst mobile medium in the tier. All in all, mobility is quite alright, not great, not bad. I'd say it's on the positive side of the scale. And the last aspect we are going to look into is the armor. As I mentioned earlier, this tank is somehow predecessor of IS-1, and that's quite self-descriptive. KV-13 have basically the best armor out of all tier 7 mediums. It does have more millimeters of well-angled armor on its rear than most of the mediums have in front. And its frontal armor have 120mm and have very similar shape as IS-1. Side armor is same as on the rear, so this thing bounces shots like a crazy tennis serving robot. So, if you will combine all these features and disadvantages, you'll find this tank is great in close, energetic combat. You have to keep moving and you have to keep shooting. In that moment, KV-13 is hard to penetrate, as aiming somewhere on a moving target it is far more hard than on a stationary one. In such situations it excels, and all negatives like a poor gun dispersion doesn't matter. You are shooting point blank, you don't care. The only tricky part is the gun depression, and I would rather go with a lower penetration and about 25 APCRs than a gun with a poor gun depression. So, do I like it? I do. It looks like Scarab to me, and it is interesting piece of machine, and it's kind of sad new players will not be able to try it and use it. But I think it will not fit many players' playstyle, and they can actually be let down by it rather than enjoying the tank. Will I miss it? Well, I won't. It won't leave my garage. I will keep this Scarab, and I'll keep it forever. I like unusual tanks. And in this moment it is time for me to end, and I would like to thank you very much for watching this video. And as usual, if you liked it, give it a like and subscribe. If you didn't and think this video is trash, click a dislike button. Any feedback is always welcome. And I'll see you in another video, and in the meantime I wish you loads of great games, great ammo boxes and engine fires. Not yours, theirs. Bye guys.